The challenge for most equestrians is that it's an individual sport up until you decide to ride in college. So being thrown onto a team when we've dedicated our whole sport up until then to just honing our individual talents is a big adjustment. Not knowing any of the horses, and on top of that, having a different horse every day and not knowing the horse you're riding until you get to practice was a little daunting.
And each practice will work on a different set of maneuvers. So one day I'm a reiner, so we'll work on sliding stops one day and we'll work on spins another day. And part of it's working on the horses and fixing them, and part of it is working on ourselves as riders.
Sometimes you don't know if a horse is going to walk out of its stall and be injured. Like at our last meet, I had to do a re-ride and I had to sit on a totally different horse than I had just sat on, and that can happen too, so you have to be kind of aware of almost every horse that could potentially be put in. So it's good just to mix it up every week, and it keeps us on our toes for sure.
It's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because we do know the horses and their individual quirks and that sort of thing, but it's also a big challenge because the visiting team does not know. So some horses have different quirks that you know exist, and so you're having to protect extra hard so you know it's there. Whereas if you're just coming in, you just ride the feel of that horse that day. And so I kind of like going away better, but home is fun too.
Away meets, it's definitely more challenging. Horses come out so differently every day that even if you know them really well from the week before, that day could be totally different. Preparing for an away meet, like when my coaches put me on the horses we have here that are extremely difficult for me to ride, it's more just mentally preparing yourself, knowing that the horse there is going to be just as nice for you as it is for their girl, or just as hard if it's having a bad day. So it's an even playing field for sure if you just have the right mindset.
We have 4 minutes to test, kind of give a test drive for a horse you've never seen before, and so we really rely on feel instead of any preconceived ideas, because in all, it's how you can present this horse better than your opponent. But a horse is a living, breathing teammate, so when you slow things down and really cater to them, it helps a lot.
Yes, there's a home horse advantage because we can use horses we know well that might have quirks, but at the same time, we have to perform just as well on these horses as the away team.
Our ball has a mind of its own. In this sport, we have another living, breathing teammate that we have to communicate with without words most of the time, just with body language and facial expressions even sometimes.
Love to take pride in our horses and that they look their best, because when they look their best, they feel their best and they perform their best. We can't do anything, we don't have a sport. Making sure that they look good, it makes us feel good too. If they look their best, they will perform better because they know that they're supposed to perform. We have some horses that when they go to postseason, you can just tell like a light goes off. They get so excited being on a different property and being with different girls, and they know they've been body clipped, they know they're important, and it's really exciting. It's hard, definitely week by week and meet by meet, when you do know you have a wild animal to control that you may or may not know, and that you also have to impress someone whose opinion you may not agree with, but at the end of the day, that makes it so much more rewarding when we do well and we do prove ourselves.
Last year really meant a lot. Winning SECs for the second time in a row at South Carolina was really special. To hit it again, because I don't believe that any other team has won SECs 3 years in a row, but Georgia, I think, is going to be the first.